Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. 63-year-old paralegal shot and killed by gunman in St. Andrew. Female arrested after a major drug bust at Manley International Airport. And later in sports, West Indies face defeat against Australia in first test. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shemela Pullen. Here are the details. The legal fraternity has been plunged into mourning after a 63-year-old paralegal was shot and killed on her way to work this morning. The victim has been identified as Sandra Risden. Our reporter Kalisha Williams has been tracking this development and brings us the latest.
I'm standing at the intersection of Washington Boulevard and Aldane Drive in St. Andrew, and just moments ago this area was transformed into a crime scene. Around 7 o'clock this morning, 63-year-old Sandra Risden was shot and killed. She was attacked by a pillion traveling on a motorcycle along this roadway. Now I understand a police officer was also in the area, challenged the gunmen, but they managed to escape.
Ms. Risden was assisted to the Andrews Memorial Hospital where she was pronounced dead. Investigation is ongoing.
I also went to the law firm where Ms. Risden was a paralegal, and they declined to comment on camera, and I was also advised that the law firm has been closed for the day. Now, I'll be monitoring this story and I'll provide more updates in subsequent newscasts. It's back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Kalisha. To a TVJ News follow-up, the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPSA, is refuting claims by the management of the Sunbeam Children's Home that there was no communication about the allegations of abuse at the facility. Speaking on Smile Jamaica, head of the CPSA, Lord Adams Thomas, insists there was communication.
And so I ensured I met with all the managers of the childcare facilities. And I reiterated this zero tolerance approach that will be taken towards abuse. And then to see this type of abuse being inflicted on a child in January, where we had to take him to the doctor to be treated and also bring the matter to the police. It was just too much.
The CPSA says it is going ahead with plans to shut down the home despite the management's announced intention to seek legal advice.
It's a location that we are going to move them to. So for those who will be relocated to another childcare facility, we are ensuring that we keep them together so they will be at one childcare facility. And we are waiting on the court order now to act and to move the children.
A call this afternoon for the leadership of the country to step up in bringing back love and unity to the nation. It comes as the country continues to be plagued by a number of ills, such as gang warfare. Speaking at the 44th annual leadership prayer breakfast Thursday morning, Reverend Omar Morrison called for a reset.
My brothers and sisters, needs to be rescued from this hopelessness and this madness of which we have pictures right across the nation. Our society needs to be rescued from gangs and guns and lawlessness, rescued from reprisals and extortions, rescued from injustice in high and low places, rescued from lewdness that is in some of today's music that leaves nothing to the imagination.
The church too, he says, must be rescued.
The church needs to be rescued from doctrine of demons, from greed, from sexual immorality, pride, over concern for our own safety. The church needs to be rescued from disobedience regarding the Great Commission and the Great Commandment. The church needs to be rescued from our post-pandemic comfort zones.
The following story we will air contains graphic images. Viewers' discretion is advised. The government says it will be moving ahead with plans to ban corporal punishment. The clearest indication came from Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Thursday morning. It follows a video circulating on social media of a woman physically abusing a teenage young woman. In the video, the woman is seen standing on the child and stepping on her repeatedly.
have taken a firm decision now that we have to ban corporal punishment through legislation nationally, not just in our schools, but right across the country. We must break this cycle of passing on violence from parent to child. And that, I think, will make a fundamental shift in our society. There are other measures which I'll speak about. What we're seeing now is just outright abuse.
Education Minister Favour Williams says the Child Protection and Family Services Agency is currently conducting investigations and will remove the child from the home when found. Cocaine estimated at $144,000 was seized at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston Wednesday morning. According to reports, at about 5 p.m., a female checked in to board a flight for London. During security screening procedures, the cocaine was found hidden in Lasco packages in her suitcase. She was subsequently arrested. Her name is withheld pending further investigations. 4 persons received minor injuries following a 4-vehicle collision on the Rocky Hill Main Road in St. Elizabeth Thursday morning. According to reports, about 8:30, 3 trucks and a Knutsford Express bus were traveling towards Santa Cruz when the accident happened.
Okay, so you drift wide. So I drift now for try and avoid it. So I go right and I look to see somebody come and I go right and I got my turn. Right, so head on that people. Alright, yes.
Many man come down from Mandeville, all the way to Bakawane da come down. You see me I say, all the way driving, I say man tap you know, and some man come tap you know, and I stop. And by the time I stop, I look to my mirror so. I'm going to set myself one way. Now you move and lick me at this and lick me at that man there.
The police are investigating. It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The minority leader in the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KCMC, Andrew Swaby, is weighing in on the controversy involving the housing development by NWC President Mark Barnett and his wife. Mr. Swaby contends it shows the flaws in the corporation. Amoy Harriet reports.
All eyes are on the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KCMC, to see whether action will be taken against the Barnetts over the breaches at the 11 Charlemont Drive property. The minority leader, Andrew Swaby, however, says he's displeased with the approach being taken by Mayor Delroy Williams and his overall handling of the matter.
The nonchalant approach of the mayor, it's quite disturbing. As a matter of fact, he just put out a release to say that they are doing an internal investigation. As far as I'm aware, we should have been having the results of the internal investigation. I believe that he's trying to buy time on this one.
As part of its investigation, the KCMC is looking into reports, inspections, and approvals related to the construction of the apartment complex. It was prompted after the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions referred the case to the corporation to conduct an administrative review in accordance with the provisions of the Building Act. This after it was discovered that in 2020, a senior building inspector at the KCMC conducted final inspections at the site in question and reported that all requirements were in order with the approved building plans issued by the corporation. Councillor Swaby says he believes there needs to be a separation of power within the KCMC as it relates to the administrative regime for building approvals.
Can't be with the same person who recommend to the committee for the approval of that approval is the same person do the enforcement. Clearly, there has to be a line of demarcation in terms of one, a set of persons who's dealing with enforcement and a set of persons who are recommending approval.
He says there are roughly 8 building inspectors, which is inadequate.
What I know that 8 is insufficient. So probably that is the investigation we should be doing, to do an audit of it, to see what do we need.
The KCMC says it will keep the public informed about the findings of the investigation. Amoy Harriet, TVJ News.
The St. James Health Department is reporting a significant reduction in COVID-19 cases in 2023. Medical Officer of Health for the parish, Dr. Tanique Bailey-Small, made the disclosure at last Thursday's St. James Municipal Corporation meeting. She says in 2022, the parish recorded 7,701 cases compared to 338 cases in 2023.
Following the news on a global basis, in the US there has been a new variant of Omicron, JN.1, which is now which is responsible for most of the cases. Especially during the holiday period, a lot of persons would have come together, would have had some fun family gathering, and so sometimes when we have those types of gatherings, then we tend to see an increase after. So just to remind us that COVID is here. JN.1, anything that is happening in the US eventually gets here sometimes. So we have to be vigilant.
Dr. Bailey-Small says the Pfizer vaccine is available in the parish as well as the flu vaccine. And as it relates to non-communicable diseases, Dr. Bailey-Small is making this appeal.
Just to say, again, while we talk about our communicable diseases, we cannot forget our non-communicable diseases. So we'd have had the launch of the Know Your Numbers campaign. I just want to encourage persons that it's important. We look to have the activity or Know Your Numbers campaign for St. James in February. We'll pass on the information once available. Just to encourage to know your numbers, get your cancer screen, get your screening done, especially age-appropriate screening.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
Local businesses appear to not be less optimistic about their profits improving in the new year. The Jamaica Chamber of Commerce commissioned Business Confidence Survey found that while the outlook was better in comparison with the last quarter of 2022, local firms were a bit timid about future earnings. Head of Market Research Limited, Don Addison, says in the prior year, 69% of the 100 firms polled in the fourth quarter believed their profits would improve.
The last quarter recorded 70.5% of the businesses who said they expect their profits to improve, down from 80.4%, consistent with the changes that they expect in their the finances over the same period. So they expect their finances to drop. They expect their profits to drop by 10 percentage points.
25.3% of businesses were of the view that their finances will remain the same going forward, while 4.2% believed they would get worse. Further afield, the U.S. Commerce Department is reporting that retail spending rose 0.6% in December from the prior month. That's well above economists' expectations. The data was adjusted with seasonal swings, but not inflation. American shoppers could continue to drive growth in 2024, but economists expect it to be at a slower pace compared to last year. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Shane Masters.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the Ministry of Health in Anguilla says both the flu and COVID-19 continue to be detected, with the latest surge being attributed mainly to COVID-19. The Health Ministry says Anguilla and several other Caribbean territories are currently experiencing an increase in acute respiratory infections. On the international scene, Pakistan has launched missile strikes into Iran, killing 9 people. The strikes are in retaliation following strikes Iran carried out in Pakistan late Tuesday. Iran condemned the attack, which it said killed 3 women, 2 men and 4 children. The reciprocal airstrikes come as tensions in the Middle East are high, with several overlapping crises. And an Israeli airstrike on a home killed 16 people, half of them children, in southern Gaza. The military continued to strike targets in areas of the besieged territory, which it has told civilians to seek refuge. In the meantime, there is no word on whether medicines that entered the territory Wednesday as part of a deal brokered by France and Qatar had been distributed to dozens of hostages with chronic illness who were being held by Hamas. And those are the top regional national and international stories. I'm Carrie Ann Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Spencer Darlington.